Dear S.2 students, you are most welcome in our fourth lesson in a topic, transport of materials in a plant, where we are going to talk about to expect the following: the process of absorption, adaptations of the root air, process of movement of water up the plant, and other learning expectations. Then if we start right away, we're talking about the transport of water. It's mainly done by the tissue known as xylem tissue, and the xylem tissue is made up of perforated cells. These cells have pores, then they are elongated and they are hollow. They have these openings or cavities to allow water to be transported through them. Then these cells are fixed onto each other on both ends to provide a continuous column or tube for transportation of water as the xylem tissue. The xylem tissue is adapted in transportation of water in the following ways. One, they are cylindrical hollow cells to provide a space for transportation of water and mineral salts. Then they are perforated cells. They have perforated cells, or they have pores to allow horizontal transportation of water and mineral salts among themselves. Then they are lignified. They have a lignified or a rigid cell wall to withstand the pressure or to prevent it from collapsing while it is transporting water and mineral salts. Then long and hollow cells, these long hole to provide a tube for transportation of water. These cells are dead at maturity so that they can efficiently transport water without any damage. Then you have a guiding question here: how is the xylem tissue adapted to its function? So you should be able to answer the questions. Then if we move on, this water which is transported in the xylem tissue, it is absorbed by special cells known as root hairs. If we take a single look at a root hair cell, it has a vacuole. It has this projection containing then the cell membrane, the cell wall, cytoplasm, and the nucleus. These root hair cells are cells adapted for absorption of water from the soil into the plant. Then they have the following adaptations to absorb water from the soil. One, root hair cells are slender, in other words, thin and flexible. Cylinder to provide a short diffusion distance or a short distance over which materials are absorbed. Then very many or numerous to increase the surface area for absorption of water. Long and narrow still to provide a large surface area for absorption of water. Contains numerous mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell to release energy needed for active absorption of mineral salts. They contain a lot of sugar to provide, which are used in respiration to release energy for absorption of mineral salts. And lastly, they lack cuticles for faster uptake of water and mineral salts. Still, you have another guiding question here to describe the adaptations of the root hair for their functions. Then the actual process of water absorption. How is water absorbed from the soil until when it reaches the xylem? This water is absorbed from the soil up to the xylem. It is absorbed by root air, but it is transported from the root air up to the xylem along the concentration gradient. In other words, along the differences in water molecules between one cell to the next cell. Therefore, there is more water in the soil than in the root air, in the cytoplasm of the root air. Therefore, water is absorbed from the soil into the root air by osmosis. This This makes the cytoplasm or the cell sap of the root air more dilute, than the next cortex cell. Therefore, water moves from the dilute protoplasm of the root air to the next cortex cell until it reaches the xylem vessel. That is the process of water absorption. It can be through the cytoplasm, and then it can also be through the cell walls, as it is shown by these arrows. Please take a note of this. The question can be: describe the process of water absorption from the soil by the root hairs. Then a transportation of water and mineral salts up the tall plant, that is from the xylem up to the leaves of the plants. Here we have a number of forces. We have the root pressure, we have capillarity, we have cohesion tension force, we have adhesion, and we have transpiration pull. All these forces contribute to movement of water up to the leaves of the tall plant. Then for the root pressure, the plant is absorbing a lot of water. There is a lot of water which is absorbed into the xylem tissue or xylem vessel by osmosis. So this absorbed water is forced to rise up. It's pushed up the plant. And this root pressure, as a result of absorption, contributes to the release of water in form of water droplets in short plants, a process known as guttation. That is when a plant is losing water in form of water droplets due to high pressure exerted onto the water in the xylem as a result of absorption of more water from the soil by the root air by osmosis. Then another force, we have the capillarity. The capillarity, which is the ability of the solution or liquid to rise in a narrow capillary tube or in a narrow tube. These xylem vessels are narrow tubes. Therefore, as narrow tubes, just like the straw, they can allow water to rise into that narrow tube up to a given height of a plant. Then we have cohesion, which is a force of attraction between molecules of the same kind. Water molecules are of the same kind. Therefore, they are highly attracted to each other to maintain a continuous film or stream of water along the xylem vessel. Please take note of this. Then we have adhesion force, forces of attraction between molecules of different kind, where water molecules adhere or are attracted along the surfaces of the xylem vessel, causing them to rise up the capillary tube and up to the xylem vessel. Then lastly, we have the transpiration pool. In the transpiration pool, as a result of water loss here from the leaves by evaporation, there is water loss by evaporation from the mesophyll cells of the leaf. Therefore, the leaf is going to plant leaves, in this case they are going to absorb more water, or cells of the plant leaves are going to absorb more water from the surrounding cells, creating a tension which is going to pull water down from the soil up to the tall tree plant. Therefore, all these processes, the capillarity, adhesion, tension, and then cohesion and transpiration pool, are physical processes enabling transportation of water, and then the transpiration pool contributes to the movement of water up to a tall plant, like beyond 6 meters, beyond 6 meters. Otherwise, for more information, check our e-learning platform and get the notes. Otherwise, I wish you a nice day.